The upscale bistro in downtown Chicago was the kind of place where executives sealed deals over $200 steaks and barely made eye contact with the servers. It was sleek, cold, and silent except for the muted jazz humming through the air. But at the far corner table, a different kind of silence reigned. Liam Barlow, billionaire CEO of a multinational tech company, sat stiffly across from his 8-year-old son, Noah. The boy didn't speak, didn't look up, didn't even touch the grilled cheese ordered just for him. Instead, he fixated on the edge of the napkin, folding and refolding it with meticulous care. Liam's jaw was tight. His $1,000 suit looked impeccable, but the tired shadows under his eyes betrayed the truth: he was exhausted. Exhausted from specialists, therapists, tutors, and consultations that cost more than most people's yearly salaries, and still, Noah remained locked inside his own world. The server approached, holding a tray, but Liam didn't look up until he heard a soft, cheerful voice. "Here you go, sweetheart. One grilled cheese with the crusts off, just like the note said," said the waitress, a young woman with warm eyes, brown skin, and a smile that didn't seem forced like the others. Noah didn't respond. But he glanced at her. Just for a second. She caught it. Liam didn't. He was scrolling through emails on his phone, trying to forget he was failing at the one thing that mattered. Then the waitress crouched beside Noah. "My name's Maya," she said, her tone soft but playful. "I used to love grilled cheese when I was your age. Especially with tomato soup. What about you? Want me to bring some?" Noah looked up again. And Liam froze. It was the first time Noah had acknowledged someone, anyone, in nearly 6 months. Liam blinked. Had he imagined it? Noah was now looking down again, but something was different. His fingers had paused mid-fold, the napkin resting unevenly in his lap. Maya, still crouching beside him, didn't rush to stand up. She stayed grounded at his eye level, a small smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. Liam cleared his throat. "He doesn't really talk to strangers," he said stiffly, half apologetic, half dismissive. Maya glanced up at him and nodded politely, but her attention returned to Noah. "That's okay," she said gently. "I'm not trying to make him talk. Just making sure he knows someone sees him." The word struck Liam harder than he expected. Someone sees him. Too many people had talked about Noah. Diagnoses. Therapies. Education plans. But how many had actually tried to see him? Maya stood up. "I'll be back with that tomato soup, just in case," she said, giving Noah a wink before walking away. Liam stared after her, puzzled. Most servers barely stuck around to ask how the food was, let alone crouched down like a preschool teacher. But Maya hadn't acted patronizing or pitying. Just, present. He glanced at Noah again. The boy was now gently touching the grilled cheese, picking off a corner, not eating, but engaging. It was more than Liam had seen in weeks. Maya returned a few minutes later with a small cup of tomato soup and a new napkin folded into a paper crane. "I used to make these when I got nervous at school," she said, placing it gently on the table next to Noah. "Wanna try folding one together sometime?" Noah didn't respond, but he didn't push it away either. Liam sat back, arms crossed, a frown playing on his lips, not from annoyance, but confusion. Who was this woman? And why was his son responding to her? The following week, Liam returned to the same bistro. It wasn't planned. At least, that's what he told himself. It was close to the office. The food was decent. And besides, Noah had eaten a full corner of his grilled cheese last time, which, in Liam's world, felt like winning the lottery. They arrived at the same time. Same table. Noah was clutching a small fidget toy this time, a squishy cube the occupational therapist had recommended. Liam placed it beside his water glass and sat, checking his phone, pretending not to be watching for her. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. No Maya. Instead, a tall young man in a black apron approached the table, pad in hand. "Welcome back, Mr. Barlow. What can I get started?" Liam didn't mean to interrupt, but the words just came out. "Is Maya here today?" The waiter blinked. "Oh, she's in the back, I think. Would you like me to?" Liam nodded before the question was finished. Moments later, Maya reappeared from the kitchen doors, wiping her hands on a towel. When she saw the table, her face lit up. "You came back," she said, more to Noah than Liam. Noah didn't speak, but for the first time, he met her eyes and nodded. It was so slight, it could have been missed. But Maya noticed. She smiled and leaned down, pulling something from her apron pocket. A folded paper animal, a fox this time. Crisp creases, delicate ears, eyes drawn with a fine pen. "I made this for you," she said, placing it carefully next to Noah's plate. Noah stared at it. Then, slowly, he reached out, and picked it up. Liam felt a lump rise in his throat. It was such a small gesture. So small it would have gone unnoticed by anyone else. But to him, it was massive. He looked at Maya. "I don't know what you're doing," he said, his voice quieter now, almost vulnerable. "But, thank you." Maya's expression softened. "Sometimes kids don't need someone to fix them," she replied. "Just someone to sit with them. Without expectations." That night, after Noah was tucked in and asleep, Liam sat in his home office staring at a blank email screen. He had intended to draft another message to yet another behavioral therapist. But instead, he searched something else: origami animals for kids with sensory sensitivities. A few days later, Liam did something he hadn't done in years: he left work early. Not for a board meeting. Not for a conference call. For something far more uncertain: a lunch with his son, and a waitress who somehow understood him better than anyone else ever had. This time, Liam brought something with him. Two things, actually. He slid into the usual booth with Noah, who was already fiddling with a rubber band wrapped around his wrist. Without a word, Liam reached into his coat pocket and gently placed a small paper tiger on the table, slightly wrinkled, unevenly folded, and lopsided. Noah stared at it. Then looked at his father. Liam shrugged. "I tried to make one. Like hers. I messed it up. For the first time in years." Noah smiled. Just a little. And Liam's heart nearly gave out. A moment later, Maya arrived at the table, tray in hand, notebook tucked away. "Well, well. What do we have here?" she said, noticing the crooked tiger. Liam raised his hands in mock defense. "Don't judge. I watched like 3 tutorials last night." Maya laughed, a warm, genuine sound, and gently rotated the tiger in her hands, examining it with the reverence of an art critic. "He's got character. Maybe he's had a tough life." Noah giggled softly. A quiet, quick sound. Liam's eyes snapped toward his son. "Did you just laugh?" Noah looked down, bashfully. Maya winked. "I think he approves." That afternoon, they didn't just eat. They folded. Maya taught Noah how to crease the corners of a simple swan, her movements slow and patient. Liam watched, hands trembling slightly as he tried to follow along. For once, there were no therapists. No charts. No goals to meet. Just 2 paper animals and a boy who was finally letting someone in. And for Liam, it wasn't just about his son anymore. It was about a truth he hadn't realized until now: he wasn't the only one trying to heal. The following week, the booth was already set when they arrived. 2 menus, a cup of crayons, and a little note folded in half, resting beside Noah's plate. Liam picked it up curiously and unfolded it. It read, "For Noah, today we fold a dragon." Maya. Noah beamed. Liam looked over at him, stunned. "You're excited?" he asked. Noah didn't say anything, but he nodded. A full, confident nod. Maya emerged a moment later, holding a fresh sheet of deep green origami paper and a printed instruction sheet. "Hey, you two," she said, sliding into the booth without asking. "Ready for the next challenge?" Noah grabbed the paper eagerly. But Liam was staring at her, studying her, really seeing her. She wore her usual apron, but under it was a worn t-shirt with faded paint smudges. There were dark circles under her eyes, like she hadn't slept well. Yet she smiled like someone who carried peace, not exhaustion. After Noah got to work folding, Liam leaned in slightly. "I have to ask," he said quietly. "Why are you doing this?" Maya paused, caught off guard. "You've gone out of your way. You're not just serving tables. You're reaching him. I haven't seen that in years, even from professionals." She gave a soft sigh. "My little brother was like Noah," she said after a moment. "Didn't speak until he was almost 9. People said he was broken. Doctors threw labels around like they were cures. But what helped the most?" She motioned toward the paper in Noah's hands. "A little patience. And folding cranes together at the kitchen table." Liam blinked. "He passed away when he was 12, she added, her voice steady. "But he taught me more in those years than most adults ever have." Liam swallowed hard. "I'm sorry." Maya smiled gently. "Don't be. I carry him with me. Every kid I meet like Noah. It's like I get to see my brother again, and do for them what I couldn't finish for him." Noah looked up just then and proudly held up a half-finished dragon, wings slightly bent. Maya lit up. "That's amazing. You're getting faster." Liam looked at his son, at the paper dragon, and then at Maya, a stranger who had, somehow, done what he thought was impossible. She didn't just reach his son. She gave him hope again. From that day on, the corner booth was unofficially theirs. Every Wednesday and Saturday, rain or shine, Liam and Noah walked through the bistro's glass doors and were met with the same thing: folded napkins, blank origami paper, and Maya's unmistakable smile. It had become a ritual. Liam now kept a small journal where he scribbled what Noah folded each visit. Swan smiled once. Frog touched Maya's hand. Crane said green when picking the paper. They were tiny victories, invisible to most. But to Liam, they were proof of a life slowly unfolding. And now, other patrons were noticing. One woman whispered to the hostess, "Is that the CEO of Barlow Tech?" Another whispered back, "He's been coming here with that little boy. Same waitress every time." But Liam didn't care. The corner booth wasn't for business. It was for becoming the father he never thought he could be. On one particular afternoon, Maya surprised them both. After Noah proudly completed a butterfly, she reached into her apron and pulled out a small cloth pouch. "What's that?" Liam asked, curious. Maya handed it to Noah. "It's yours," she said. "Something to keep your creations safe." Inside was a soft, zippered binder with clear plastic sleeves, a handmade origami album. Noah's eyes widened as he carefully slid the butterfly into the first sleeve. Liam was speechless. "You didn't have to do that," he finally said, voice thick. "I wanted to," Maya replied simply. And just like that, something shifted in the air. Liam wasn't sure if it was the weight of gratitude or the beginnings of something more, something unspoken. But as their eyes met, he knew this much: she had become more than just a waitress. She was the only person who'd ever looked at Noah and saw potential, not pity. And somehow, she was doing the same for him. The next Wednesday, the booth sat empty. No folded napkins. No origami paper. No Liam. No Noah. Maya kept glancing at the door, her tray balanced, her apron tied just a little tighter than usual. She told herself they were probably just busy. Maybe stuck in traffic. Maybe Noah had a doctor's appointment. But as the lunch rush faded and the afternoon sun dipped behind gray clouds, the truth settled in. They weren't coming. Still, she waited, long after her shift ended, long after the last coffee cup was cleared. It wasn't until 2 days later, on a rainy Friday afternoon, that Liam walked in alone. Maya spotted him immediately. His shoulders were tense, his shirt slightly wrinkled, something that would have been unthinkable for the buttoned-up CEO even a month ago. He looked worn. She approached quietly. "Hey," she said softly. "Everything okay?" Liam didn't sit. He stayed standing at the booth, eyes lowered. "Noah had a meltdown," he said flatly. "At school." Maya's face softened, but she didn't interrupt. "They said he threw a chair. Screamed. Hid under a desk for hours. They called me in. Told me he's regressing. That he might need to be placed in a different program. Somewhere more controlled." He exhaled sharply, jaw clenched. "I tried to talk to him. Begged him to tell me what happened. He just stared at the wall." Maya gently touched the edge of the table, steady and calm. "Did he hurt anyone?" "No," Liam said. "Just scared them. Scared himself." There was a pause. Then Maya said something he didn't expect. "Do you want to know what I think?" Liam looked up. "I think that meltdown didn't come out of nowhere," she said. "Kids like Noah feel everything. And sometimes the world is just too loud, too bright, too demanding. When no one listens, it builds up until something breaks." Liam slumped into the booth at last, burying his face in his hands. "I'm trying, Maya. I'm trying so hard." "I know you are," she whispered. "But trying doesn't always mean fixing." They sat there in silence for a while. Rain tapped gently against the windows. Then Maya reached into her apron again, this time pulling out a small, laminated card with a single sentence written on it in block letters: "I'm not ready to talk, but I still want you with me." She handed it to Liam. "Give this to Noah," she said. "Sometimes, words on paper feel safer than words out loud." Liam stared at it, overcome. And for the first time since the call from school, he felt something that had almost slipped away completely. Hope. That night, Liam sat beside Noah on the edge of his bed. The room was dim, quiet. Just the soft hum of a white noise machine and the faint glow of a nightlight shaped like a fox, the one Maya had folded weeks ago and helped Noah name Benny. Noah hadn't said a word since the meltdown. He hadn't looked anyone in the eye. He barely ate. It was as if the world had become too much, and he'd closed the door to everyone, even his father. Liam's heart ached. He gently placed the laminated card Maya had given him onto Noah's lap. No words. Just the card. Noah didn't react right away. But then, slowly, he picked it up. His eyes scanned the sentence once. Then again. And then he clutched it tightly to his chest. Tears sprang into Liam's eyes. He couldn't hold it back anymore. "I'm not mad, buddy," Liam said, voice trembling. "I was scared. But not of you. Never of you." Noah didn't respond. But he didn't pull away either. Liam continued, quieter now. "I've spent so long trying to fix things. Trying to fix you. But you don't need fixing, do you? You just need someone to stay. To sit in the quiet with you. For the first time in days." Noah moved. He reached out, not with words, not with gestures, but with something far more powerful. He grabbed Liam's hand. Held it. Tight. Liam stayed like that for what felt like hours, barely breathing, afraid that if he moved, the moment would vanish. But it didn't. It stayed. And that weekend, when they returned to the bistro, Maya didn't say a word when she saw them walk through the door. She just smiled, and slid a blank piece of sky blue origami paper across the table. Noah picked it up himself this time. And folded the first crease on his own. That Saturday felt different. The usual booth was there, but something had shifted, not in the room, but between the three of them. It was no longer just about routine. It was about belonging. Noah sat up straighter. His fidget toy was still in his hand, but it didn't consume his focus. He glanced at Maya now. Met her eyes. Even nodded when she asked if he wanted the tomato soup. Liam watched it unfold with cautious awe. Noah hadn't said anything yet, not with words. But his body language was louder than it had ever been. And Maya understood every beat of it. Today's design is a challenge, she said playfully, sliding over a folded instruction sheet. We're making a phoenix. Symbol of rebirth. Rising from ashes and all that. Liam chuckled. Bit dramatic, don't you think? Maya grinned. Maybe. But fitting. She turned to Noah. Want to try it? Noah gave the smallest smile, and reached for the red and gold paper she'd brought. They worked together, folding piece by piece, wings, head, tail. Liam tried to keep up, but his folds were off, and his phoenix looked more like a crumpled chicken. Noah actually giggled. That sound, clear, light, free, cut through Liam like sunlight. He hadn't heard it in so long. Not like that. They laughed together, all three of them, for the first time. And then, something even more unexpected happened. Noah leaned forward, placed his nearly finished phoenix on the table, and whispered, barely audible, "Thank you." Both Liam and Maya froze. It was one word. Just one. But it echoed louder than any boardroom speech Liam had ever given. Stronger than any investor pitch. More powerful than all the progress charts and therapy summaries combined. Tears pooled in Maya's eyes, though she blinked them away quickly. "You're welcome, Noah," she said gently. And Liam? He couldn't speak. Because for the first time in his life, his son had spoken, not just as a boy with challenges, but as a boy who finally felt safe. After the phoenix, everything began to shift faster. Noah didn't suddenly become talkative or normal, in the way some would expect, but he didn't need to. His voice, now free from fear, surfaced in moments that mattered. A whispered hi to the bus driver. A quiet, "More juice, please," at breakfast. A soft Maya when they walked into the bistro. Every word was a mountain climbed. Every sentence, a victory parade. Liam started blocking off time on his calendar just for Noah. His team at Barlow Tech had never seen him like this, present, grounded, human. He even turned down a multi-million-dollar expansion deal in order to stay close to home. Because nothing, no partnership, no merger, no IPO, could rival hearing his son say, "Dad," for the first time. And Maya? She had become part of their world in ways no one expected. She wasn't just the waitress anymore. She was the bridge. One afternoon, as the sun streamed in through the bistro windows, Maya placed a folded lotus flower in front of Noah. It was delicate, intricate, folds layered like quiet strength. "This is the last one I'll fold for you," she said softly. Liam looked up, startled. "What do you mean?" Maya smiled. "Because the rest are yours to create." Noah stared at the lotus. Then, steady, focused, he reached for the paper beside it and began folding his own. No instructions. No help. Just him. And when he was done, he handed the finished flower, slightly wrinkled, but beautiful, to Maya. "For you," he said. Maya covered her mouth. Tears slipped down her cheek before she could stop them. Liam watched it all and realized something he hadn't fully admitted until now. Maya hadn't just helped Noah grow. She had saved both of them. Weeks passed. Then months. The bistro, once just a quiet corner of town, had become something else, a sanctuary. A place where paper animals lined the shelf above the window. where a reserved sign with 3 tiny origami symbols sat permanently on one booth, a fox, a dragon, and a phoenix. The story of the CEO and his son had spread, though not through headlines or press releases. It moved quietly, through the staff, the regulars, the occasional strangers who noticed the boy folding in the corner, his father beaming beside him. And always, Maya at the heart of it. One crisp Sunday afternoon, Liam arrived with Noah holding his hand, and something different in the boy's free hand, a folded ring. Sloppy. Slightly uneven. But unmistakable. Liam looked nervous. "We, made it together," he said, handing it to Maya. He wanted to help. Maya blinked. "A ring?" Liam cleared his throat. "It's not official or anything. I mean, it's not even real jewelry. Just paper." She smiled, heart racing. "But," he added, "I was thinking maybe it could be a placeholder. Until I earn the real one. Until we earn this, as a family." Maya stared at him, speechless. Then Noah, with all the sincerity in the world, looked up and said, "Don't say no." Laughter bubbled through Maya's tears as she knelt and hugged them both. No speeches, no dramatics, just the quiet, full warmth of someone who had been broken once, too, and now was finally whole again. And in that moment, surrounded by folded animals, quiet smiles, and the scent of warm soup, something beautiful was clear. This wasn't just a story about a CEO and his autistic son. It was about a waitress who offered more than food. A boy who spoke through folds. And a man who finally realized, love doesn't always come loud. Sometimes, it comes softly, folded gently in the corner booth of a little bistro that changed everything. The seasons turned. Snow dusted the bistro's windows. Flowers bloomed again in spring. Life moved forward, but the corner booth never lost its magic. Noah was thriving. Not cured. Not transformed into someone else. Just seen. He now had friends. He smiled more. He still had tough days, but they didn't define him anymore. Because he knew he wasn't alone. Liam changed too. He stepped down from day-to-day operations at Barlow Tech, shocking the business world, and instead launched a foundation supporting children with communication challenges. Its logo? A folded phoenix. And Maya? She wasn't just by their side, she was with them, always. The ring Noah helped fold was eventually replaced with gold. The wedding was quiet, held in the park, with origami cranes hanging from the trees and Noah standing proudly between them as they said their vows. But Maya's apron, stained and soft from years of serving, was framed and placed above the fireplace in their home. Because that's where the story began. A waitress. A boy. A broken father. And a single act of kindness that unraveled the pain and rewrote their lives. On the anniversary of the first folded fox, Liam looked at his son across the table and asked, "Noah, what do you want to be when you grow up?" The boy thought for a moment. Then answered, "I want to fold hope for people." Liam blinked, heart full. "Fold hope. Like Maya did for me," Noah said. "One piece at a time." And with that, he reached for a fresh sheet of paper, and began again.